G'day, it's Keith Gisman, property surfing at Plantation project today, and as you can see over my shoulder, I've got some scaffold up on both homes. So it's home 2, you can see there in the background, the foreground, some indication of the rubbish that comes out of a job. It's the second skip I think I've seen full, and there's another one out the front. And then this is home 1, so we're probably a little bit close to get a decent perspective, but we're going to go for a walk inside and have a bit of a look where we're up to. We're almost at lock-up stage, so the project's really coming along. And what are you thinking about my Movember? Had a late start due to daughter's graduation, but I'm finishing the month off strong. All right, let's go and have a look inside. So we're standing up on the deck of house 1. So we have a deck complete. We can see that the deck's been put down here, and you can see where the staircase is going to go. There's a landing halfway down the stairs, so the stairs should be in any day now. As we walk inside, you can see external cladding and insulation is in place. You can see the rough-in, which is the electrical wires hanging down inside the wall. In this case over here, the data for phone. You can see the plumbing in over here. So we should have sheeting done anytime in the next couple of days, and then we'll really start to take shape. Now it's a pretty nondescript wall you're looking at there, but there's a couple of points that I wanted to focus on today. So if you see at the top here, you can see a beam that runs across. Now the reason that beam's there is because sometimes a good way to pick up space in a house is you actually move the wall from underneath the beam out to the end of the roof. So in other words, you widen the room by what would have been traditionally the eave on the outside. Now you can only do that in certain places where you've got the home facing the right direction. You're not going to cause heat issues and water issues, those sorts of things. But in some cases, it's a great place to pick up basically 600 mil of home. Now in this case here, because we've got the beam, you get what they call a bulkhead, so a lower section of roof. So if I come back and stand here, you can see that we would have had the cupboard built in underneath here. So the cupboard would mean that the face of the doors would line up with the beam, and you wouldn't even know that we've pushed out under. But when I came to site during construction and the carpenters had started forming it up, I realised when I stood in the cupboard basically that there was a really nice aspect and a nice view out there, which would have been hi James. Hi. Which would have been a great spot to wake up to. You sit up and you look straight out the window. So I talked to the builders at DevCon about moving the robe from where it was to the other end of the room. So you can see at the other end there was no windows, well, there are no windows. So all we've done is shifted the robe over to this end, which means that the robe still works fine. Arguably it's probably a little bigger. We just created an artificial bulkhead that'll make it still look seamless. We've got some power points to relocate, but basically with the relocation of the power points and a little bit of timber work, we're going to have a bed at that end sitting under the bulkhead. We'll set some down lights into the bulkhead, so it actually looks like it's meant to be there, like a bit of a drop ceiling feature, cupboard at the other end, and we end up with that quite nice view. I don't know if you can kind of make the view out between the scaffold and the lighting, but as we get further on in construction, we'll make sure we point this out again. We're standing on the outside of the house now, and I thought I'd show you what the eave effect is outside. So it's afternoon here, it's about 4:30, and you can see that I'm standing in shade. So you can see over my shoulder here also that what we've done is we've pushed the wall of the house out to the edge of the eave, or what would have been the eave. It is now the edge of the roof line and the gutter there. So what that means is that on the face of that building, as we look down past through the scaffold, that means that there's no sun protection, no direct water protection. Now, largely this building kind of faces east-south, so I get a little bit of sun on it in the morning, but with the environment here, we're comfortable to do that and pick up that extra 600 in the home, particularly because it doesn't face west, so it doesn't get the beating afternoon sun on it. So it's a good little corner to show you the effect. So here is a typical eave setup, and you can see the width here to here is about 600. So in this case here, what we've done is we've just pushed that out from about here to about there, And what that has meant is that all of the rooms along this side, the bathroom and 3 of the bedrooms, have all picked up a little bit of extra size inside, which can make a big difference in terms of movement areas around beds and bedside tables and those sorts of things. So it's not something we use all the time. If you did it on every wall, like a lot of England homes are, for example, then you get direct sun exposure on all walls. But if you pick the right side of the building, it's a good tip for picking up valuable floor space inside.